Hello and welcome back. You'll have discovered here that we say a lot about forgiveness here in A Course in Miracles, especially all of the commentaries that exist about the Course, all of the podcasts that you might be able to access, the video channels and series such as this one. Yeah, we say a lot about that. And if you haven't discovered that, you're about to, should you choose to stick around. And having been led here, I hope you continue to allow yourself to be led throughout this broadcast, however long it may last. Most of these videos turn out to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 25 minutes. Sometimes the Holy Spirit has more to say than that. So I never really know. We don't know. All we can say for certain is that there's a reason why we're here. I mean, isn't that the case? Really, it is. Amidst all of this stuff, all of the chatter, the clutter, the noise, amidst all of the content on the internet, much less this single platform, which is the largest social media platform in the world, YouTube. I mean, there's a lot of other things that you could be watching right now. And here you are. So I do most certainly invite you to stick around. Wherever you happen to find yourself on this thing called the spiritual walk path journey, marathon, 110-meter high hurdles, maybe sprint, slow crawl. I don't know. No matter what your background is, you can gain quite a lot from this video and all of them because there's a message somewhere here. Perhaps I've already said it. Likely I'm going to, because there's a lot more to be said. But there's a message that's specifically for you, and you'll know that. You will. You will most certainly know that when you hear it. So let's talk about forgiveness from the standpoint of chapter 30, section 7 of the text of A Course in Miracles as we go through all of the sections a little bit at a time. This one's called the New Interpretation. And, well, we're going to talk over the next few minutes about forgiveness itself. We're also going to talk about the way that we see the world, what's backwards about it, what's completely wrong, in fact, about it, and how we could choose to see it differently, and how the Holy Spirit, our inner teacher, part of our mind that we're invited to listen to and to take as our sole teacher for guidance, support. Under the guidance of our inner teacher, we can allow ourselves to be led because we continue when we try to take the lead and run the show. We lead ourselves to the next shiny cliff and take a flying leap onto the jagged rocks below, thinking, oh, it's not going to hurt as badly this time as it did the last time. Yet we're still bruised and battered, maybe with broken bones, with what we call here in the world a shattered pride, a sense of complete overwhelm. Does it sound familiar? It doesn't have to be that way. So let's talk about the way we see the world. What is completely wrong and backwards about the way that we see the world is that we see it from this filter or this lens of our own individuality. We think that we are living, breathing, waking, eating, sleeping, going to the bathroom, individual human beings, self-sustaining survival units. And taking that as our starting premise, separation, we see chaos. The purpose that we see in the world that we've made that appears to be outside us, we in fact appear to inhabit it. And it appears to be surrounding us, outside of us, because in our false sense of individuality, we've taken this highly perishable device right here for us. Having done that, we run amok. And here we appear to find ourselves. So, yes, there's a lot of war going on today. We just had a global pandemic a few years ago. There's that. There is conflict everywhere. There's political strife and violence. Yeah. There's exploitation, rampant exploitation of all kinds. And it's no different than any other time, in fact. The reason we continue to see it is because we continue to want to believe that we're individual human beings. And yeah, I mean, we certainly appear to be. Thinking we're individuals, we see things a certain way, and we think that there is a purpose in the world that our little individual self has given to it, whether that's acquisition of lots of money or acquisition of hotter, sexier love life. I don't know, right? Acquisition of finer threads, a cool new house, or more social status and prestige than your neighbor, who's automatically, we assume, doing pitched battle with you, competing with you for stuff. We think there's a purpose in the way we see it. Guess what? Our neighbor thinks there's a purpose in the way he or she sees it, and they appear to be oftentimes completely different, at odds, in fact. But from his or her point of view, they're right, and the way they see it is the way it is. We think the same thing. No wonder we battle with one another. We see conflicting purposes in everything. And you know what's even more complicated and confusing to us than that, which is bad enough for starters, is that the way we see it changes and fluctuates all the time. We see one purpose here, next minute a different purpose here, and it's always shifting. It's always highly variable and changing. And even though we may claim from time to time, and certain people claim it more than others, that they love change, that they love this constant, unstable, complete shifting ground, instability everywhere you look, shifting sands. Yeah, love that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, beautiful. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're all over the place. We don't know which end is up, so to speak, or which end is down. We don't know what anything is for. Harken back to some of those early lessons in the workbook for students. I do not know what anything is for. I do not know what this nose is for. I do not know what these eyes are for. I do not know what this ring is for. I do not know what that microphone is for. Actually, it's for sharing the Holy Spirit with you, for forgiveness. I do not know what that microphone's for. I do not know what this shirt is for. I do not know what this room is for. I do not know what that political party is for, etc., etc. Remember that one? You may have found yourself thinking, what in the actual is he trying to say anyway? Huh? Well, we don't know what anything is for. We have no stability of perception. What we see when we appear to look out with these mere things is constant flux. It is. It's constant change. That is what we appear to see. The way we look at it's always shifting. The way someone else looks at it's always shifting. No wonder we're not on the same page all the time. In fact, it's a miracle that we're even on the same page at all sometimes, isn't it? With all of that individuality and all of that constant flux, we do not know what anything is for. So here's the deal. When we choose to take the Holy Spirit as our teacher, our sole teacher, meaning our only teacher, we open ourselves to seeing things very, very differently. Oh, yes, very. And it's fun and cool and good and happy and joyful. May not feel fun in the moment as we let our judgments go. But if you do it often enough, it becomes a habit, and you'll discover that you no longer see things the way you once did. Try it and keep going with it, especially on those days where it feels like you want to quit. You may be having one of those right now. So there's a reason you're watching this. Keep going. You're closer than you think. You wouldn't be here. You would not be interested in this material in any way, shape, or form. The Holy Spirit sees one purpose in the world: forgiveness. Just one: forgiveness. Therefore, that's the only purpose the world actually has. We can't stabilize our perception, which is the shifting sands. Yeah, just the constant flux, the yo-yo, the roller coaster ride. The only way we can stabilize our perception is to accept a common purpose: forgiveness. Forgiveness is that common purpose. It is the only purpose the Holy Spirit sees in the world. So once again, it's the only purpose all of this has: forgiveness. The miracle of true forgiveness, healing the mind. We can't stabilize our perception until we accept this common purpose. And only our forgiving dreams can be shared. Let's talk about this. Only forgiveness can actually be shared. Our individual dreams of personhood, of social status and prestige and wealth and prowess and all of that stuff can't be shared. We hoard them to ourselves. They're by definition not shared. We can't share them. Because if you see something one way, someone else sees it the other. That's not sharing. There's no commonality of purpose. Forgiveness means the same thing to everyone. Forgiving dreams can be shared. So let's talk about this idea here, forgiving dreams. You might think, okay, what do you mean? Well, forgiveness is an illusion. I'm going to say some more about that, of course. It is. It's an illusion because it still involves a forgiver and the forgiven. It's an illusion like physical bodies, like rugs, like microphones, like screens with pixelated images on them, like this one that appears to be talking to you, like our homes, our nation states, which are completely illusory. A bunch of old dudes drew this line on a map and said, here, we're going to defend this like dogs. Great. Fantastic. Okay. It's all an illusion, including the world itself. You're not a body, and you very well know that deep down. Doesn't mean you have to accept it and dance with glee upon hearing that you're not a body. Oh, and there is no world. Central teaching of this course, you're perfectly at home in God where you've always been. Same with all of us, which you also happen to know deep down. Doesn't mean that you have to accept it with glee. I mean, if you were to show up at work on Monday saying, oh, hey, how was your weekend? Great, there is no world. People would think you were crazy, right? There are many reasons why you don't see more people practicing this course. Well, who's really ready to accept that the way that they perceive everything is upside down, backwards, and wrong? Okay, then. And then, even once we embark on the study and practice of this material, we still have days where we think this is nuts. We still have moments where we think it's never going to work, where we think we're losing our minds. What is this even talking about? It's part of our experience. It is. So why do we say that forgiveness is an illusion? It is. It involves forgiving, it involves a forgiver and a forgiven, whether it's an idea or a concept like the world itself or what appears to be another person, right? It makes no difference. It's an illusion. Here's the difference. All of these other illusions, like physical bodies, like nation states, like our bank account, like our artwork and clothing and all of that, keep us looping around doing the same old, same old. The difference between forgiveness and all other illusions is forgiveness leads us out of the dream. It points the way to truth. It leads us away from error, the error of individuality and separation, the only error there is, right? Forgiveness leads us away from that rather than keeping us stuck in it. It's a dream because, in truth, there's nothing to forgive. There is only perfect oneness. There's no separate other to forgive. So, once we perfect our forgiveness lessons here in the dream, allowing ourselves to be led by the Holy Spirit away from error, once we've completed our forgiveness lessons, there's no more need for it. There's also no more need for the world and the universe that we appear to see. Bye bye. We're at home in God. That's where we are right now. We're waking up to that. Once our forgiveness lessons are complete, it's said here in A Course in Miracles that God takes the final step himself, which simply means once our perception has been completely clarified, then truth dawns of itself. But only then. Now, along the way, we may very, very well have glimpses, and I know for a fact that many of you have had these types of experiences, these glimpses. Yeah, and it's not required. If you have not, doesn't mean that you're doing this wrong. Just continue to show up and forgive because it is the only illusion that leads us out of the dream, that leads us away from error. So we do it. That's the only purpose the Holy Spirit sees in the world, is leading us out of error. So shall we not follow him? That's the invitation, and it's constant, 24/7. And you're invited to accept that invitation right now. Okay, you're invited to accept it again right now. If you didn't do it just then, do it now. Yeah, we have the present moment to do this. So let's do that, shall we? Let me tell you from years of practical experience that when you've practiced this for some time, you'll be able to look back and think about how you saw the world, who you were, what made you angry, what you couldn't stand, and compare that with where you are now. And when you discover they're not at all the same, that you're much more loving, calmer, kinder, forgiving, then that will serve as valuable proof, if you want proof, to you that this is working. It works. You will not see things the same way. That's, in fact, the point. We have to understand, all of us, that this is, in fact, a process. I mean, it is, isn't it? Yes, a blinding flash of enlightenment is possible at any moment, and who knows when that may occur. We don't really know. Most of us get what is referred to here in the Course as a gradual program, a gentler program of awakening, because to have the veil stripped right off your face, so to speak, immediately may freak you out. And if it's going to freak you out, the Holy Spirit's not going to do it. You're going to get what appears to be a process, and at times it may very well appear to you to be excruciatingly slow. Keep going. I mean, we're told in all aspects of life to trust the process. Let's do that. Now, should questions arise, I'm here to be of help to you as a guide. You're welcome to ask me questions, should you have any, about A Course in Miracles or about spirituality in general. Either one, it's perfectly fine, and I welcome that. So I'm here to serve as a resource for you. If you have not subscribed, I want to have you do that. The prompt is here. It's this icon over here in the corner of your screen that you've seen, that little arrow looking thing. Yeah, hit that, subscribe, and join us. Several videos appear each week. And as we mentioned earlier, we're going through the text of A Course in Miracles, but it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're doing the workbook or the text or where you are with anything. Every single sentence of this course contains the entirety of the thought system. So no matter where you happen to find yourself, there's always a message here for you. So I thank you for listening to that. You do very well to get in touch with our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit, who's part of our mind, not outside us, part of us, and ask. He'll guide you willingly and is ready to do that. What's the Holy Spirit's waiting for is for us to accept that guidance. Please go forth and accept the guidance of our inner teacher, who sees forgiveness as the only purpose of this wobbling, spinning ball of chaos. There's a lot we can forgive. Anything not wholly joyous, anything that annoys us in any way, or perturbs us, or makes us sad, angry, depressed, makes us want to hyperventilate, have a nervous breakdown, anything. There's lots of material out there. All right. So thank you so much for being here and for listening to the message of our inner teacher here. Let's go forth and forgive, 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 and we'll meet back up here in a day or so. All right. Thank you for joining me.